Hey folks, it's Fernando doing another video here for the Modern Survivalist, and here I have an email from Manny, which is quite interesting because it covers different things that I'd like to talk about. It says, I have been reading your website for a few years. Money is tight, and I thought whatever was on your website was the same as your book. My wife gave me your survival manual for Christmas. I was mistaken about the book. I highly recommend it to regular web viewers. I'm now giving it a second reading. I noticed no pepper spray in your EDC. Why not, and what do you think? Please address your views of US states for relocation. Still deciding on body armor and would welcome a video. Also would like to hear of religion as related to modern survival. Thank you for your outstanding work. Best regards, Manny. Well, Manny, thanks a lot for the kind email. About my book, which I always mention it in my videos, as a way of promoting it. The Modern Survival Manual, Surviving the Economic Collapse, which I have the link to there below in the descriptions to Amazon. Yeah, absolutely. As you say, if you do like my videos, if you do like my writings in my website, no doubt absolutely about it, you will like my book as well. And it's basically just that. It's a survival manual for the kind of thing I went through in Argentina, but basically it's a good urban survival manual, a good survival manual for what pretty much everyone is going through these days. It has lots of very good reviews in Amazon, almost 300 reviews. You can check those out and see what people think. But I recommend it also because it's my way of sharing my experience, not only my thoughts, but also what I've learned myself, and what I've learned sometimes the hard way as well, which is better if you just learn it through someone else's experience rather than having to go it through yourself first. And I just cannot cover in my videos, even in my website posts, topics in the same depth that I do in the book. In the book I can go into much more detail, and it's much more comprehensive. So absolutely I do recommend it because I feel it's a good resource for you folks as well. It's not just about me promoting it. I promote it because I really do believe in what I do. So I do lots of things in terms of YouTube videos. I do my best so as to share the knowledge that I have and my experience, but also sharing thoughts and such. Same thing for the website. If you want a little bit more than that, the book is actually a very good way to go about it. But you also have tons of videos, you have lots of posts as well, but it's not going to be the same as a book. Regarding what was it, pepper spray? Yeah, wherever it's legal for you to have a pepper spray, I think it's a great option, especially because it's a non-lethal option. Even if you have the possibility of having a firearm, wherever it is that I am that I can have, because sometimes it's not legal for you to have a firearm, sometimes it's not legal even to have pepper spray. In many countries it's not. So depending on where it is I am, if I can have pepper spray, I will have pepper spray. If I can have a firearm, I will have a firearm. So wherever it is that you are in your own circumstances, if you can have both, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and it actually gives you another option. It gives you a non-lethal tool to work with. Sometimes if you think that just having a handgun just covers the needs of a non-lethal alternative, maybe just using your handgun in that situation escalates the level of violence rather than helping you control it. So wherever it is that you are, if you can have even a small can of OC spray, of pepper spray, even a small one, is better than not having it at all. And guys, for what, 10-15 bucks, I'm going to be leaving the link there below, but I'm pretty sure that for between 10 and 15 bucks, you can have a small can of red Sabre pepper spray, which is actually pretty good. Usually when I get emails about pepper spray, it's usually the ladies that ask, but also the guys as well, and there's no reason for you not to have it if you can. It gives you the option of, yeah, it's generally women that ask mostly about it. Sometimes they are a little bit more concerned regarding having a firearm. This is based on the emails that I get. Usually it's more likely to be from the ladies rather than the gentlemen regarding questions about pepper spray. But you shouldn't have that those preconceptions. It's a great tool for everyone, for women and for men. It gives you that in-between point where you're avoiding bringing into the equation a lethal weapon which can potentially escalate the level of violence, and it's allowing you to do something that's better than just using physical force, getting into a fist fight with someone that may be even worse if you can avoid it by all means. It's actually quite effective as well. It gives you a tool so as to blind considerably your opponent. When sprayed in the eyes, it really burns and blinds people because of the tears. It makes it difficult for them to breathe as well. So it complicates their position a lot and gives you the option of escaping, leaving, and getting away from that threat. Wherever it is that you are, if you can have, I will do that myself. At least a small can is always recommended. Regarding your questions about best U.S. states, that's something that I addressed in my second book, in Bugging Out and Relocating. I do address not only different countries, but also different states. This is on page 108, where I talk about specifically about the United States. And yeah, I do go through different categories that I consider are important, and different the charts, especially looking at a cost of living, safety, what else? The crime stats from the FBI for each state, average ACT, so as to take a look at the level of education in each state. So you have all these figures. There's no secret. I mean, the first state that I do recommend in my book is actually Texas. That doesn't mean, and I want to get this, make this absolutely clear, it's not as if Texas is the only state or the absolute best. I particularly think that it's among the best states to go for, because it has lots of things going for it, especially the Texan mentality, the way of doing things. I particularly like it. I think it's a good general attitude that Texans have. You have, of course, a good gun laws. You have an economy that's not as bad as some of the other states. You have very good options in terms of cost of living as well. It's one of the most affordable states without having many of the disadvantages that some of the cheaper states do have. So because of all of that, Texas is one of my top options. Colorado is actually the second one that I mentioned. Colorado is actually very good. In many ways, it's better than Texas in something. It's safer in Texas. Colorado, climate, you have colder weathers, which brings a little bit of different challenges to deal with. So that's something, and it also depends on what each person likes. Some people are particularly sensitive to cold climates, so Colorado may not be as good, taking into account that Texas, you have warmer climates. So Texas, Colorado, those two would be my top two choices. But that doesn't mean, and I talk about other states as well, that doesn't mean pretty much in, I don't agree with some survival authors that think that some states are just awful and there's a handful of great ones. I think that pretty much in nearly all states, with very few exceptions, I think that in pretty much all states, you have somewhere that you can make a very good case for. All right, and this is important to emphasize and remind everyone, because one of the most important assets and one of the most important things, not only for survival but also for quality of life, because at the end of the day, I mean, if you're not living well, if you're not enjoying your life, if you're not doing things as you'd like to, then what's the point in all of this? One of the most important factors to keep in mind is family, friends, and the network that you have thanks to them. All right. For a lot of people, it's actually a very bad idea to leave behind the state where they are simply because some so-called expert thinks that this or that state is a place to be in for the end of the world, which is a nonsense that I always make reference to and focus quite a bit of effort on, reminding you guys that this end of the world thing is, it makes no sense. One of the biggest assets that you can have is the people around you, the network, the friends, the family that you came to trust over the years. Man, take it from someone that had to leave almost all of that behind when leaving Argentina, and it's no doubt whatsoever the thing that I miss the most. I left because everything else was, in many other things it was so bad, especially in terms of crime and the economy being the mess that it was, but basically because of how dangerous it was to live over there. At the end of the day, that's affecting also the quality of life, and I don't regret it. But the thing that I miss the most, no question whatsoever, the people that you leave behind. And I noticed that a lot of folks end up making bad decisions based on bad advice. They end up moving to states that are supposedly ideal for survivalists, and they end up leaving behind a place in which they grew up in, a place where they're more comfortable, where they know everyone, where they know the people that they're going to be interacting on daily basis in their lives. So make that an important part of your equation whenever making a final decision. Don't just go somewhere because someone else thinks that's the best place. Again, pretty much in every state, understand the things that you should be preparing on, because each state has its different challenges. But know that pretty much in every state of the United States, you can make a good case. Sometimes it's about moving to somewhere else within the same state, and you don't even have to leave your state behind. Staying closer to that family and friends network that I was making reference to before. What else? Regarding body armor and, a video on body armor would be welcome. I actually did a video, I remember I did a video specifically about body armor. Just click on the channel here, and clicking on the channel, the Modern Survivalist channel, you have that little magnifying glass. You can look up body armor, if not just going for the gear section, and it wouldn't be hard to find. Or just put body armor Fairfell, it should show up pretty easily. I did a video about body armor explaining why I think it's actually a great thing to go for, especially if you're going to be preparing for self-defense. It really makes no sense, at least to me, to have half a dozen guns and not have body armor. You're not going to be getting into so many gunfights that you're going to be going through different guns and never get shot in return. In your house, you should have your handgun, you should have a flashlight so as to be able to work around when something goes bump in the night, but also body armor. Whenever you have the option of putting on body armor, sometimes you do have those extra few seconds or even a few more minutes so as to put it on. I've written different posts, and of course in my books, especially the first one, the Modern Survival Manual, I explain why I feel so strongly about body armor. It's getting increasingly difficult to find body armor. In many cases, Amazon used to have body armor. I just checked. It's no longer available in Amazon. So that gives you, and keep in mind, body armor is not covered by the Second Amendment. All right. So keep that in mind. Don't be surprised if one day you're not allowed to get body armor anymore, because there's nothing protecting you, ensuring that you have the right to own it. So that's a pretty important thing to keep in mind. What else? And finally, also would like to hear of religion as related to modern survivalism. That's something that I'm gonna be I'm working on right now in a third book that is somewhat going to be addressing what you seem to be interested in regarding religion and modern survivalism. No, I'm not going to be ranting on religion. I'm not that type of person. But I'm going to be addressing some of those things in my next book. Hopefully I'm not going to be giving any dates or anything like that, but hopefully soon enough you'll be able to check it out yourselves. Guys, that's going to be all for now, and thanks for following the channel, subscribing. I really do appreciate the thumbs up as well, and whenever you guys share the videos, and of course subscribe. Guys, take care, have a great day, see you on our next video.